I'm here in Llanview Valley Boxing Club. Came in here today and I wasn't expecting to see this gentleman. So good to see you, Dan. Could you just tell us what you're doing back in Wales?
Yeah, I'm just here, coming down to see some friends. I was in Italy previously on a BKFC event, unbelievable event with Rico and Sweeney trilogy. Unbelievable fight, probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in person. The event was amazing. Then I come to London, and then I've just headed down to Wales to see some of my boxing family and some old friends. I haven't been here for 4 years because obviously I've been full-time in Marbella for the last 4 years.
So, fighting-wise, you were with BKB.
Yeah.
Now you're with BKFC. Why did that transition take place?
Look, it's great. Look, for me, it's like I always want to better myself, and I never burnt my bridge with BKB. I have a great relationship with Joe and Jim. It put me where I am today. I had to start somewhere. For me, I think they knew and I knew that they struggled to get good opponents for me. Because, as you know, when I first entered BKB, I was fighting the likes of James Kennelly, Sean George. They are like 15 to 20 kilos heavier than me. You know, and that's what I had to do to put a statement out there that I believe that I'm the baddest bare-knuckle fighter on the planet. But, you know, because they couldn't get me the right fights, then obviously I finished my contract amicably. I didn't burn my bridges. I got nothing bad to say about BKB. I've had a fantastic time with them. So for me now, it was just to move on with my career and get the best fights. And then with BKFC, I had a huge fight in Marbella, which was great. They'd done a BKFC event there in front of all my home people. So for me, that was a great place to show people my skills, because previously, before that, I kept having opponents pull out all the time. So where I am now, I'm excited. It's probably going to either be for a European title or a world title. So I'm really excited to dominate now my real weight category, and that's the featherweight at 145.
And I think I'm right in saying, when you were still with BKB, you were getting offers from other companies to jump ship, but you did stay loyal to BKB while your contract was still running? Yeah,
I did. For me, it's the most important. I don't say anything bad about a company. Like I said, Jim, especially Joe was fantastic with me. So for me, it was, I spoke to the team. I said, guys, you know, if you can pull a big fight. They nearly got me the Ishii Smith fight. I was really happy about that. He pulled out the first time. I had to pull out, which I couldn't believe. I broke my one of my ribs in sparring with this national Spanish team. I was devastated by that because I had a really good camp. And then obviously after that, I jumped in with Tito Martins, and I just stopped him in 2 rounds. Is like I said, for me, they couldn't bring that quality in for me. And even against Ishii Smith, he was a former IBF world champion, but he was still 15, 20 kilos heavier than me. So it's really good now to be fighting at my natural weight of 66 kilos.
Okay, so what's the plan for you going forward now, bare-knuckle boxing-wise?
Look, it's great. You know, we got Conor McGregor, David Feldman doing a great job with BKFC, branding-wise. You know, they've just come back from Dubai, Italy. They're doing, huge events in America and Hollywood. In Philadelphia, had 20,000 people in the stadium. That is incredible. The Marbella event was probably one of the best we've ever been to, and I was privileged to be part of that. So for me now is that, I'm on the biggest platform. We got the Zone, we got huge companies, broadcasting my talent now. So I got 2 years left in the game, and I have to push to my full advantage on being the best version of Dan Chapman. But it's great to tell everybody I'm back a full-time athlete now. So where before I was working a lot, and now since the last 4 or 5 months, I didn't think I could elevate because of my experience. I've been doing this for 22 years. You know this. You've seen me since I was a kid, Kieran. So now I've elevated to another 3 gears, and I feel fucking really good. So I'm excited.
So throw some names out there if you can. Who would you like to be fighting over the next, well, you said you got 2 years left in the game. Who would you like to be fighting?
Well, at the minute, the champion at 145 is Kai Stewart. He's absolutely shocking. If that is their champion, I feel like I'm going to stop him in a round. So when I got that belt, then I think, then I can really sit down with the team and create some big fights. I can move up to 155. We got Frank Tenaglia at that weight. But I wouldn't jump down to maybe 135. All the years I'm not making weight ever again. So yeah, for now is Kai Stewart. If that doesn't happen in Hollywood, we've got the big fight with Gary Fox. He just won a British title against John Chipchase, and that would be a huge European title fight with the Leeds fans, with the Welsh fans. I'm hoping we can do that in Wales. I've been speaking to some of the team with BKFC in the UK, and that would be just a sellout and just us two. because he sells over 500 tickets. If we had it in Wales, I'd sell over 500 tickets. That would just be an epic event. So they're the two names that I'm after right now.
I know James Lilly was talking about trying to get a show in Wales, a BKF.
It's happening.
And obviously with yourself on the roster as well now.
Yeah, look, I've been speaking to Andy Bakewell. We have a fantastic relationship with Andy. We are 100% going to be doing a show in Wales. Meantime, has just been a fighter. I manage fighters too, so I've got my own company. So right now I manage over 15 bare knuckle fighters, the likes of Joe Lister, Anthony Holmes, Ryan Aston, John Phillips. These are under our management, which I'm really happy. So we would want them on all on that bill. It would be like even just having John Phillips and myself on that bill, that would be a sellout on its own. So they're exciting times to come.
And what potential venues would you use in Wales? Have you thought that far ahead yet?
Yeah, look, they're looking now to BKFC are really smart. They do all types of events. They do prospects. They do ones just for content. They do the big ones with DAZN, like Marbella, Italy. The show in Birmingham coming. That's going to be the first one with the UK are going to be part of DAZN, which is exciting times for everybody who's going to be on that bill. So for me, is the one in Wales that's going to be an incredible show, because look, we're a small little country. We have 3 million people in Wales. Fuck, we produce some unbelievable fighters. So we can do it better than all the other countries. We can shake the roof in the Cardiff ice rink. I think that would hold over 5,000. So that's what we're looking to do.
So you mentioned Wales there and Welsh fighters. Why does Wales produce so many good fighters, do you think?
Because not a lot happens in Wales, I think, we come from small communities with a very humble nation. Rugby is our first sport. So, we back the rugby and the football. But I believe where boxing is going, Joe Calzaghe put us on the map. So for us is that, they are the people that we used to look up to when we were children. And the likes of Clinvy Valley, is not many people giving back to the small communities. This gym has been open just under 2.5, 3 years, and they produce champions after champions. That is not luck. For me, Adrian Sharon and all the boys, Benji and all the team, Brew and all them, putting the hard work, making things easier for children to come off the street, to come into the gym, like John Radmore done with us when we was kids. Like I said, there was not a boxing gym open until 50 years in Gwynfi. And then all of a sudden, John, had 3 fighters representing Team Great Britain as full-time athletes. I think, like, us without all the Welsh champions that he produced. So, for us is even me as a boxer, I'm always giving back to the kids. I'm always teaching. In Spain, I teach over 100 children. So, it's our job to give back. 22 years of boxing, we have to give it back to the communities,
So you mentioned Spain there. I mean, what's your day-to-day life in Spain, Dan?
Me being back a full-time athlete now is great, but I still teach the children. So that's a full Monday to Saturday schedule. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday there's coaching. Then Tuesday and Thursdays they have the strength and conditioning and sparrings on Saturdays. So me and my coach Darius, we have, like you said, over 100 fighters. We got tots class, beginners class, fighters class, and again, it's harder in Spain because they're not allowed to start fighting until they're 14. Which is really difficult because most of our best kids are under 14. But we make it. We take them on box cups. We do our own shows in Unit 41 in Marbella. But yes, I got some exciting things to come. I haven't told anybody yet. So this is maybe another exciting adventure that I'm going to be going on my journey. So that news is to come. I can't reveal that yet.
Give us a clue.
It's to do with boxing.
I know you're doing really well in bare knuckle, and obviously you seem really happy in Spain, training the kids and your personal training and stuff. When you watch these big shows like in Saudi Arabia, with the money they're getting paid is absolutely ridiculous. It's unprecedented in the last 5 years or so. I mean, do you feel a bit frustrated they are not part of that?
To a certain extent, but when I left BKB, I put an offer out there. I was willing to turn pro. I have a huge following. I can sell tickets. I can, if you ask me to fight tonight in a phone box, I'd fight tonight in a phone box. I'm always ready. So for me, it was that promoters come in for me, and BKFC offered me the best offer, and that's where it was. And where my age is right now, I know the situation, and if I needed an investor to turn pro, regardless of my following, my ticket sales, and my talent. I feel like I'm a better fighter now than I've ever been. And for me, is if I had an investor then I know I don't have to worry about, I don't want to fight 10 journeymen. I want to be fighting for titles on my second and third fight. But for instance, if I did a fight for a British title, with the way the politics is, it'd take me 2 years. And the money in that would be 20 grand. That's not even minimum wage, that's 10 grand a year. I mean, that's not even minimum wage. How can I'm in debt if I'm a pro. And for me is that, also the problem I would have is that anybody who got titles, I'm more of a risk than a reward. So if the money isn't there with an investor, then they're not gonna fight me because they know how good I am. I have a good name in the boxing world. So that was the only reason why I didn't turn over pro. But in the meantime, with being with BKFC, I did have an offer, which I haven't told anybody about, to fight Ryan Garcia on an exhibition. So that nearly came about, but then obviously when Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya stopped him fighting the Japanese guy, then obviously that exhibition goal had finished, sadly. So in the future, because Triller owned BKFC, they have a great relationship with D1. His name is David. He is the owner of Triller. He loves me. He wants me to turn pro. But I think the right time is when I become a BKFC world champion after at 145. Once that happens, I think I'll have many doors open.
So you're still open to the idea of putting the gloves back on if the right offer's there?
Yeah, look, like I said, when I left BKB, I wanted to turn pro. I was ready, but it was horrendous offers coming in. And BKFC come in, David Feldman dropped me a message and he said, Dan, we love you, we want to make you a superstar, show us what you got. And I did. I went to BK, I had a show in Marbella, got rid of a guy in, I think it was in 90 seconds. I didn't even come out the first gear. And Kai Stewart is a champion. He's been a champion for the last 2 or 3 years now. And the same I'm going to do to him. That's the difference. People don't understand my talent because I can do what I can do to lower level fighters to what I can do with higher level fighters. And that's why people, say, how can he do that? Is he fighting low opponents all the time? It's not. I'm able to do that to everybody.
What do you think of the Chris Eubank Jr. and the Conor Benn fight on the weekend, Dan?
This is actually quite funny because I started giving you a bit of stick on Facebook about this. Look, I can't stand what Conor Benn did. He was a cheat. You can't deny it. But Eubank, I love Eubank because he hasn't got what he needed to be in his career just due to, staying patient. He's got funding in his pockets. He's never pressured to take fights that he doesn't need to take. So, he's fought Groves, he's fought De Gale, Olympic champion, he's fought Billy Joe Saunders really early in his career, which he didn't need to. He's fought, this Liam Smith twice, back to back after getting stopped. So, his mentality and his psychology, I actually admire that. And for him to have all that pressure on him, he handles it really well. And I believe any other fighter would have come under that pressure would have flopped. So, Eubank now deserves a Canelo fight or a big super fight. I think he deserves that at the end of his career because, regardless win or lose, he just deserves that huge opportunity. Conor Benn, he needs to go back to the drawing board, get off his high stool and go and win a British title. Do it, because for me, he hasn't even won a regional title. It just doesn't make sense. For me, it's just like, if you really, want to win the public back. And he has, to extent, on the last fight, because he did perform brilliantly. It was an epic fight. I could compare that to the dad's fight. It was toe-to-toe action from round 1 to round 12, and they both, the weight and the size came in Eubank's advantage, and he was able to hold him off and smother him. But, a lot of people don't understand, rocking someone doesn't win you a round, So it does show that Conor Benn has potential if he puts his mind to it. I think he's also faced severe criticism and pressure because of the situation that he was in. For me, I believe that, maybe he shouldn't box again, but, rules are rules, eh? And I just think, let's hope he learnt that lesson. He's going to come back a clean fighter and a better fighter from that.
So how big a problem do you think drugs are in boxing?
At the minute, it's the biggest problem. Because if I'm a pro boxer and I'm elite, I can retire and then not get drug tested for a year, but still be training flat out, come back, and then that's what Mayweather used to do. That's what all the fighters do, I can't prove it, but I think where there's so much money involved, and when the other fighters know the others are doping, then they dope. And that is the pressure. It's happened in the Olympics. That's why it was nearly pulled out. It was pulled out from the next Olympics. I'm hoping that we get it back. I think they've agreed that it's going to be back, which is amazing. But it's got to stop. It's got to be drug testing, weekly. if high-level elite fighters, like we talked about, I'm on about the elite who are holding any of the world title belts, IBO, IBF, WBC, to the extent of British, Commonwealth, European, they should be getting tested weekly. Because you look at the Nick Blackwells, you look at these other guys, it's ruining people's lives. It's horrendous that people are allowed to do that. That's classed as a clean sport, So I'm really against that.
Okay, Dan. Finally, because I think you're just waiting to lock up here and turn the lights out. Any message for your fans about your fighting career?
Yeah, sadly, I'm not back. I'm based in Wales anymore, so my real fan base was in Wales and my community in my stag, Blaen Gwynfi, in the valleys. But now I'm not there, so my following is through the social media, through Instagram, TikTok, whatever, Facebook, and I just want everybody just to keep tuning in, keep showing that support. And like I said, it started from being in a gym like this in Clinvy Valley, from Gwynfi ABC to my own DC Boxing Academy many years ago. So this is where it all starts, and it shows that you can be a good example to show the kids who are a lot younger than you that you can come from nothing to something.